Hey everyone, Jarrod here, and today I'm going to talk about something that I think to some of you might be controversial. I don't really know. But it's more an educational piece. It's not going to be a very long video, and I'm going to have to take my phone here. I'm sorry about that. But I've got some notes and I don't want to give you any misinformation. So first things first is I'd like to talk a little bit about this. And no, not about Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI is going to be released in North America coming up in a couple of weeks now. But I wanted to talk about the music behind this. This is one of these topics where I don't know where this happened, but a lot of misinformation is out there about why the games, or game, depending on which one, has an orchestrated soundtrack or does not have an orchestrated soundtrack. And this actually varies depending where you are in the world. And if you look up this particular topic, you're going to see a lot of different information out there about Koichi Sugiyama basically being like this tyrant lunatic, all the way to being like, you know, he's 750 years old, so, you know, he's outdated, he's not with the times, and all of this jazz. So there's truth in all of this, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. As an individual person, he has some very, shall we say, interesting political views. He's very outspoken on certain things, but that's not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is to ask why this happens. Why are there orchestrated CDs that are sold all throughout Japan to sell like dozens, tons of copies, and yet on the game itself, it's not orchestrated, it's synthesized. So what's up with that? So, okay, to the phone. So first thing I'd like to just mention ever so briefly is the fact, I gotta just quickly, I forget what it's called. Jasrac, J-A-S-R-A-C. Okay, so this is an organization that essentially maintains the copyright of music, all right? And Sugiyama is a board member of this particular organization. He has been forever. He's over 80 years old now, this guy. And it really protects the composers and the musicians from getting their music stolen from them, okay? Now, what you might not know is Square Enix actually does not own this series. It's really complicated. The closest thing I can compare this to is something like the Pokemon Company. So Armor Project hold the exclusive rights to Dragon Quest, okay? That's Yuji Horí's company. Now, the art, all of the art, is actually owned by the studio that Toriyama runs. So it's like it's the same studio that runs the Dragon Ball manga and all that jazz. And the music is owned by the glorious Sugiyama. Okay, I forget what his studio is called. It's like Kobe or something like that. And so Square Enix actually has no say with any of this sort of stuff. They're involved. Okay, they I forget how it goes with their owning of like Armor Project or part of the branding of Dragon Quest. But what they can't do is they can't release a Dragon Quest game without Sugiyama, Toriyama, and Horii all basically being involved in some way or another, because otherwise you won't be able to use the artwork and you won't be able to use the music. What the hell would Dragon Quest be without a slide? What would Dragon Quest be without Overture? All these sorts of things make Dragon Quest what it is. So, just to make sure we're all on the same wavelength here, in order to get a synthesized, yeah, that's right, a synthesized soundtrack on this game, like it has, okay, it costs Square Enix significantly less than if they wanted an orchestrated soundtrack on that particular game. Why? Because of that Jasrac. So the Jasrac would essentially say that synthesized music, who did it? Who synthesized that music? We're going to give them the royalties for this particular song. So to use that in a game is significantly cheaper than an actual live orchestra, because all the individual people in that orchestra have certain rights to the music that they play. It makes this unbelievably complicated in terms of licensing out music. Now, have they done it before? Absolutely, they've done it before. They've done it multiple times before. But a big reason why they're slowing down, and if you look at quite a few of their latest releases in the last like 3 years, 4 years, they're moving more and more towards the synthesized soundtracks, and a lot of that has to do with money. It's a lot cheaper and less complex to do. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything else that I wanted to let you guys know about. Yeah, okay. That's it. All right. So that's the main gist of it. Now, you might ask, well, what's this? Well, this is the CD of the orchestrated version of Dragon Quest XI. It's actually wrapped, because this is actually a gift, of Dragon Quest XI, and it's the full orchestrated soundtrack. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Now, if you follow the rights to this, people are like, yeah, well, Sugiyama is just like wrecking face, clearing house in terms of selling these CDs. That's why they do it. There is partial truth to that. I'm not going to lie, for sure. If the guy's sitting there, he's like, well, I can make money by releasing my own CDs. Well, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. But of course he has to pay out royalties as well to all the people that were involved in that particular orchestra. Now, where things get a little weird is, if you really wanted to maximize the amount of money he was making, why not release a synthesized soundtrack, an orchestrated soundtrack in the game, charge Square Enix more for that, and then release your own CD. It's not like people are not going to buy the CDs anyways. If you love the soundtrack, you're going to buy it no matter what. So, but he's also not a fan of digital, because there's a whole thing with digital rights, and it's just a mess. It's a legal mess when it comes to rights of orchestrated soundtracks that these organizations don't actually own. And unlike Final Fantasy, with Final Fantasy, Square Enix owns that. So they can do whatever the hell they want to do that. The music is all owned by them. Everything's owned by them. Dragon Quest is a completely different beast, and it's complicated. And I know that people are like, oh, he's a jerk, he's an ass, he's this, that, and the other thing. But the truth is that if this guy retires and he does not sell the music rights to Square Enix, you could theoretically have a Dragon Quest game without Overture or any of the classic soundtrack that you've grown up with or you've come to love. So that's just something to be mindful of. And again, this is just a very short, little bit of an educational video on why there are Dragon Quest games with orchestrated soundtracks and synthesized soundtracks. And yes, I'm not going to say that, Sugiyama has no play in this. Of course of course. But it is also more complicated than people realize, because I think a lot of people believe that Square Enix just fully owns everything to do with Dragon Quest, and that's just not the case. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give a little quick update on that, because I've been asked that question over and over and over again. Debate with me, argue if you think I'm crazy, whatever, go for it. But you can't argue with the fact that Square Enix doesn't actually own Dragon Quest as a whole. So I hope you enjoy, guys, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, everyone.